Boy, where you been? It's TeeJay, the artist. You rockin' with me. You are the smartest, and we back with another video, man. And the Olympics are here. Team USA versus everybody else. We need to bring home the gold. But we're about to watch Jimmy High Roller. They said they were the greatest team of all time. About to see what went on. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. We about to get into the video. You already know Jimmy High Roller be coming with it. Let's do it. Could you turn me up in the headphones a little bit?
Embiid corrals.
Embiid!
Check this out.
Okay.
You see that score? USA versus Germany. Germany is up 82-81 with 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. The game should have never been this close, but it is. In fact, it's been a close contest since the opening tip. Both teams going bucket for bucket, neither of them really able to pull away.
Hey, LeBron
Someone
James
is going to have to step up and take control of this game if they want to win. And of all the players on this court, of all the talent, the greatest shooter of all time, a former MVP, the future of USA basketball, it is none other than all-reliable 39-year-old LeBron James who completely takes over this game.
Finds James, knifing through with it. Backside, nice run here, saved by James. LeBron trying to take over. Running inside, trying to answer the tie-in. James another rebound.
This game was a good game too. It was a good game.
To do so this coming weekend. Oops! No! James another board and a foul, which will send him to the line. Look at this bench reacts.
LeBron James, bang!
LeBron James bodying inside. He scores. He's a man. Goodness, does he take over? You have a right to do.
With the game on the line and 4 minutes left in the fourth, LeBron turned back the clock and completely put Team USA on his back, scoring their final 11 points and single-handedly outscoring Germany. The Young Bucks are loving it. These performances should have came to an end years ago.
But he's
and
still
yet,
doing it.
Here we are, 22 years in, and the old geezer still got it.
Oh, geezer.
But wait a minute. This is the best basketball team on the planet. Some have even called this roster the best team of all time. But if that's the case, then why out of all of these players does it take a 39-year-old LeBron going ballistic in the final minutes to win a game by single digits? Their previous game against South Sudan was a similar story with the go-ahead back.
Hey, South Sudan like that, bro. South Sudan like that, bro. They don't even have an indoor court, so you know they getting it out like in the heat. They hooping, raining, they hooping. Them boys could not miss versus USA. Them boys like that, bro. Watch out for South Sudan.
Basket by LeBron being the only thing separating the US from a loss.
And they almost won this game.
A couple months back, when this team was first announced, they were immediately hailed as one of, if not the greatest team ever assembled. However, through 5 exhibition games, 3 of which were won by 6 points or less, the title of greatest team ever seems to have been given out a bit prematurely.
I don't think so.
Is this team truly the best team we've ever seen? On paper, they have all the credentials to fit the bill, but on the court, they aren't nearly as dominant as some teams from the past.
Okay, let's see. What you got, Jimmy?
Today, I've teamed up with DraftKings, the one-stop shop for all things fit throughout the season, into the NFL. Earn your shot that LeBron James was fourth place finish in the FIBA Basketball World Cup.
This is where it started from, FIBA. It was like, oh no, the world catching up. This is where it started at.
Reports surfaced that LeBron James was recruiting players from around the league to suit up for the U.S. men's national team for the 2024 Olympics, reaching out to teammates, friends, foes, all to better their odds of defeating a common enemy, everyone else. And although fun to imagine, the team he was attempting to put together seemed like a classic case of too good to be true. Except it actually happened. A 12-man roster that some are saying is the greatest basketball team of all time. LeBron, Durant, Curry, Embiid, Tatum, AD, Booker, Kawhi, who has since been replaced by Derek White, Edwards, Halliburton, Holiday, and Bam. One of the most loaded teams in the history of basketball. And yet, 5 exhibition games into this year's Summer Olympics, and this team has just barely escaped with a win on multiple occasions. Nowhere near some of the colossal blowouts we have seen Team USA put down in the past. Which begs the question, is this actually the greatest team of all time? greater than the 1992 Dream Team?
Well, the rest of the teams are better now.
A group
Don't mean they're catching up, but the rest of the teams are better.
of players that won games by a record-shattering margin and took basketball to a global scale. Are they greater than the Redeem Team, or even the US Olympic team in 2012, led by Kobe and a prime LeBron and Durant? Well, it all depends on how you want to define greatness.
Okay.
Are we talking about a team with the best collection of talent, or is greatness defined by
winning?
how good they are as a collective unit?
Yeah.
And since the 2024 US Men's Olympic team has yet to play a single non-exhibition game together, I assume we are referring to option number one.
Gotta be.
In terms of major career accomplishments, such as MVPs, championships, All-NBA teams, the key milestones that we use to measure how great individual players are. Here is how the 2024 US Men's Olympic roster stacks up against some of the greatest teams.
Okay. So 2024 and 1992, that's Dream Team. Got the most championships, and then Finals MVP. Oh, so basically it's just these two. All NBA. Well, this one got 65, and all defense. This one. Okay, so if you cut it down in half, 1996 team better with the defensive player of the year, all NBA and all defensive, but everything on the left has these top two
of the past. Now, it's important to note that I only took into consideration the accolades these players earned leading up to the time of the Olympics. So, for example, although Michael Jordan won 6 titles and 5 MVPs by the end of his career,
all
I
of them
only
don't count.
included the 2 titles and 3 MVPs he won heading into the 92 Olympics.
Got it.
This is only fair since players on the 2024 roster have yet to finish their careers and still have time to pile up more accolades.
That's
so
facts.
this is a snapshot of how accomplished these teams were at the time of their formation.
Okay.
And when ranked against the most accomplished teams, you could make an argument that this 2024 team is the
the best.
greatest of all time, just slightly edging out the US men's team in 1992 and in 96. Oddly enough, the 96 US men's Olympic
better.
team was more accomplished at the time of their formation than the 92 Dream Team was. But overall, this year's team is arguably the greatest team in terms of their basketball resumes.
Okay.
But that might be due to the fact that this year's US Olympic team is old. By the 92 Olympics, Larry Bird had already played his last NBA season. His back was completely toast, and he was the oldest player on the team by a considerable margin.
And he wasn't even like
He was
wasn't really
35,
playing.
which means right now, Stephen Curry is older than Bird
Than
was
Bird.
during the 92 Olympics. In fact, Devin Booker has already been in the league longer than most of the players on that 1992 Dream Team. So although this 2024 team has the advantage of experience and longevity, the team in 92 got many of their players during the peak of their careers. So what if instead of accolades and accomplishments, we looked at how good these players were individually at the time of the team's formation? Here is a chart of the 2024 US Men's Olympic basketball roster and their production and efficiency from this past season, with box plus minus on the y-axis and win shares per 48 on the x-axis. Now, a few things jump out here. Tyrese Halliburton has been considered one of the weaker links on this roster, but he was actually one of the better players on this team throughout the regular season. LeBron James is really old and still really good, and Joel Embiid's spot is a quick reminder that if it weren't for a season-ending injury this past year, the man might be a back-to-back MVP right now. And now for some context, here is the 2012 US Olympic team and their advanced numbers in the season leading up to the Olympics.
James.
LeBron was the best player on this team, followed by Chris Paul and Kevin Durant. They also had a veteran Kobe Bryant and Olympic Melo. And statistically, you can make an argument that the individual players on this team were better than the players on the 2024 team. The 2008 Redeem team was relatively young and inexperienced in the international run, with LeBron James leading the way coming off of his 5th season in the league, a young Chris Paul entering his prime, and MVP Kobe Bryant. But overall, this team probably wasn't as good as the US roster this year. 1996, however, is one of the more underrated teams ever assembled, with a ton of 90s greats like Pippen, Gary Payton, Reggie Miller, and of course, the greatest frontcourt lineup the world has ever seen. Featuring David Robinson, Hakeem Olajuwon, Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley, and Karl Malone. This team was experienced. They were all still in their prime.
See, Shaq was supposed to be on the first Dream Team. So was Isaiah Thomas, but they gave it to Christian Laettner, and they didn't want Isaiah. But this team might have beat the. I'm just saying.
And as a whole, they were better than this year's team. Which leads us to the 1992 Dream Team, who are still on a completely different level from any other team before and since their inception. Okay. Because here's Michael Jordan, here's David Robinson, Magic Johnson, Drexler, Stockton, Barkley, and the rest of the team. And now we have a better picture of just how good this 92 Dream Team was.
Okay.
The 1992 U.S. Men's Olympic team was so good that Anthony Edwards in 2024 was statistically worse than every single player on the 92 Dream Team outside of Christian Laettner, who hadn't even played a single minute in the NBA up to that point. Now, you may be thinking that the stats of the players in 1992 might just be inflated or possibly a miscalculation. How is there so many all-time great players at their peak in the NBA in 92? And where are all of these players today? Well, they're playing for other countries. Because here's Nikola Jokic.
This is what I was telling y'all. The rest of the countries getting better. Not catching up, but they're getting better.
Here's Luka Doncic, here's Giannis, and here's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
But they can't play for us.
In terms of individual dominance, the 92 Dream Team would be like having this 2024 roster without some of their relatively weaker links and the addition of Luka, Jokic, Giannis, and SGA. That is how good the Dream Team was.
Okay.
And I don't know if we will ever see one single team as good as this 1992 US Men's Olympic team was ever again. In 1992, basketball was a sport dominated almost exclusively by American players. The NBA, and by default the entire world, revolved around players from the US. There was, of course, exceptions to this. Among the elite foreign players of the early 90s were Nigerian-born Hakeem Olajuwon, who ended up playing for Team USA, Patrick Ewing from Jamaica, who also ended up playing for Team USA, Detlef Schrempf from Germany, and Croatian legend Dražan Petrović. But that was about it. The NBA had yet to really pursue basketball on a global scale. The two international teams that were eventually added to the league wouldn't make their debut until
Toronto
1995. 95% of all NBA prospects were American-born or attending US universities. But as Steve Kerr said after Team USA's loss in last year's FIBA World Cup, this isn't 1992 anymore. Over the last 32 years, the number of foreign-born NBA players has skyrocketed. From 21 foreign-born players, just 5% of all active players in the league in 1992, to 125 foreign-born players throughout the league in 2024, representing nearly a quarter of all active players. Today, when players join international competition, more often than not, they're just playing their NBA teammates in these tournaments. It's a bunch of NBA guys versus a bunch of NBA guys. The 92 Dream Team was and still is the greatest team ever assembled because they were a collection of the best basketball players, not just in the US, but in the entire world at the time. Outside of Hakeem, who was arguably not as good as Ewing or Robinson in 1992, and Isaiah Thomas, who was unjustly snubbed from this team, they couldn't have gotten any better. Now, in the case of this 2024 team, they're great, but they aren't nearly the best possible iteration of what the greatest collection of talent in the entire world would look like today. So not only was the Dream Team the greatest collection of talent in the history of basketball.
Y'all ain't gonna sneak Victor Wembanyama in there. I caught y'all. I caught you. You snuck Wemby in there. Come on now. Come on now. I see you sneak him in there like he's great. He's definitely great. But don't say like this team will be even greater if we put Luka, Jokic, Giannis, SGA, Brunson, Kawhi, Jimmy Butler, Jaylen Brown, Victor Wembanyama. You snuck them in there.
Basketball. Nearly all of the players on the Dream Team were at the.
He would be a nice addition to the USA team, but he's a rookie.
Peak of.
Well, actually, he about to go into his second year now, but yeah.
Their powers, but they were also eviscerating teams. More legendary than this 92 roster and the dominance of their individual players, the Dream Team was crushing their opponents. In Game 1 of group play, the Dream Team scored 116 points while holding their opponent to just 48. In the semifinals, the Dream Team beat a really good Lithuania team by 51 points.
Woo.
If you want to know just how outmatched these countries were, look no further than the guy who just threw in the towel and just started snapping pictures of the Dream Team while the game was still going on. And in the gold medal game against a loaded Croatia team featuring 6 NBA players, the Dream Team won by 33 points. Look at this play right here. Gold medal game, the pride of an entire country on the line. Barkley hits Leitner for a 3 and calls it good before he even puts up the shot. These games were never close. In fact, this team wasn't even fair. During the 92 Olympics, the Dream Team had an average margin of victory of nearly 44 points. The largest margin of victory of any men's team at any professional level, and twice the margin Team USA put up in the 2016 and 2020 Olympics. Their average margin of victory this summer has been just 10 points. Granted, they are still making tweaks to their lineups and experimenting with different game plans, so this number will likely change over the course of the Olympics. But through 5 exhibition games, they aren't winning in nearly the same blowout fashion we saw in the past.
What y'all want? Y'all want wins, or y'all want to just blow people out all the time? I guess both of them the same. Just one, I guess, less impressive because 10-point. Man, whatever, man.
And this level of dominance that we saw from the...
Why won't we talk about this margin here in 2004? I'm just playing.
Dream Team, the USA men's team.
2004 is the reason 2008 happened. This season right here is the reason that the Redeem Team happened.
2008, and even 2012 will more than likely never happen again. In 1992, excluding the US team, the 11 teams that played in the Olympic basketball tournament featured 18 players that were active in the NBA or were in the NBA at one.
What's the number? What y'all think the number is? It's probably gonna be like, because every time we watch one, it's been at least 3 people on the team from the NBA. It's finna be like 30.
One point in their career. In this year's Summer Olympics, the 11 countries outside of the US that are playing in the tournament feature 68 active or former NBA players. Now, this is an oversimplified way of looking at the caliber of these teams, because as we've seen before, having the most NBA talent on your roster does not guarantee success. But it does show just how much the world has caught up with the US in basketball. The once contend for a goal that separated USA basketball roster does not guarantee success.
It's not catching up. It's just that, it's not catching up. They might be catching up, man.
But it does show just how much the world has caught up with the US in basketball. The once massive chasm that separated USA basketball from the rest of the world has been shrinking for over the last decade or so, and is now at a point where many countries can truly contend for a gold medal. As it stands, this 2024 US men's roster may be the greatest team ever assembled in terms of their accomplishments and their legacies and resumes. But when it comes to the sheer dominance they have on the court together and how good each individual player was at the time of the team's formation, the Dream Team is still the best team in the history of basketball. And with the leaps and bounds foreign players continue to make, I don't think we will ever see one single team reach this level of dominance ever again. A team that still remains the gold standard.
So you don't think we're gonna be able to do that again? Okay. Who do y'all think is the best Team USA team? You got the Dream Team, you got the Redeem Team, you got the Avengers. They call them the Avengers. You have the Dream Team 2. You have the 2012 team. Hey, which team do you think is the best Team USA team? Put it in the comments. Peace.